you want to get on your Facebook, you can share it straight from there to your followers right now.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
Okay.
So I think we're live now?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi. If you're just joining, we're getting ready to do a Facebook Live event, and we will give a few minutes for people to join. So if you want to just sit tight for a few. And my name is Tracy. I'm with the Parker Library, and I have Tara Rose here with me, and I'll give her an introduction in just a minute when we get more people online with us.
Yeah, I'm really excited and grateful to be here. It's really fun to be here in Parker, Arizona with you and with everyone here to talk about holistic medicine and how nature can heal us.
Awesome. We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
And she even brought her puppy with her today.
Yes, Petunia, would you like to make an appearance? Come here. Come here. Come.
She's like, I'm comfortable here.
Come here. Come on. Want to say hi? Come here. Come on, do it. Nana, come here. Real quick. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Come on, Petunia.
Do it. Come on. Come on. Come on.
She's camera shy, I think.
Yeah, I guess she is.
Well, she has a darling puppy with her, Petunia.
Yeah.
Hi.
She's going to join us from under the table.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, thank you everyone who is online with us and joined us today. Like I said, we have Tara Rose here with us. She's an author and holistic wellness educator. She works with, sorry, I'm reading this because I wanted to make sure I introduced her correctly. So she works with plants and earth medicines and trains intuitive energy healers. So I will let her begin. She's going to touch base on a few different subjects. And so if you are maybe interested in one more than the other, just sit tight and wait to hear the topic you want to hear about. So.
Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, this is really fun. I love speaking about the healing power of nature because nature is all around us and nature is in itself medicine. Everything from the plants to the rivers to the sunshine can heal us and help us and enhance our natural sense of health, wellness, and mental and emotional well-being. So it's a free medicine that everybody can access. So I really feel passionate about sharing that because there are many different epidemics happening right now. Everyone's talking about COVID, but I think a bigger epidemic is depression, is anxiety, is stress, not to mention all the physical chronic diseases that many people are suffering from. And I do believe in my experience as a holistic healer and just my personal journey that nature holds the medicine for everything. And I love that it is so accessible to everybody. And so I'd like to share on a number of different topics along these lines. I'd like to share with you first from my personal journey. This past year, I have spent the entire year living outdoors in nature. I, before that, was living in the city of Portland, Oregon for 12 years, very much like most people live, living in a city, renting an apartment, that type of lifestyle. And so in February last year, I left Portland and I rented a minivan and I moved into the minivan and I started living completely in nature at the ocean at the Oregon coast.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a really big lifestyle change.
Yes. Sounds like it.
Yes. So what happened was I was in Portland, but I wasn't finding a place to live. I was in between housing situations. And I was feeling like I was stressed out by the city. I'd become more sensitive because of all the spiritual work that I have been doing, which is a common thing. When you start getting all these different activations and doing a lot of spiritual work and holistic healing, your body and your mind and everything becomes more sensitive. And then the input of regular civilization like a city can start to overwhelm you. And there's a lot out there right now about being an empath. That's really big in some of the metaphysical communities, which just means like you are an especially sensitive person to the emotions and thoughts and feelings around you. And that definitely described me. So while I was in between housing situations, I was renting hotel rooms and Airbnbs, but I kept finding myself gravitating to the public park in the city, Laurelhurst Park in Portland. And in the park, I could just feel this like deep sense of peace and calm. And I just would find myself returning there multiple times a day to the point where I realized it was my home. And then I thought, why am I renting rooms if this is my home? But it was the winter up there, and that's real winter with snow, not like Arizona winter. And I thought this was really weird, but I was finding myself preferring to be outdoors even overnight. And so I thought, okay, this lifestyle needs to change. And so I rented a minivan and I went to the ocean where I could really get clear of all the craziness of the city and just be fully in the forest and with the ocean. And living that way really profoundly was very healing and changed me. I had been in a place of depression, not really feeling super stable, not doing so well. But in nature, I found this profound love, this profound peace, and this incredible well-being. And I found that just by walking up and down the ocean on the sand, something transformational was happening to me. Something was happening to my mind, to my spirit, and even to my physical body. And I lived there for about 6 to 8 months in different places on the Oregon coast, but always outside. And then I started making my way down the West Coast through California, and now I'm in Arizona, so I'm enjoying the desert, and I've gotten to experience the forests and experience the different healing energies that different places in nature have.
Well, that is interesting.
Yeah, and while spending so much time outdoors, I would sometimes go into the town, to the grocery stores or whatever for resources and supplies, and I started to experience a dramatic contrast in the way that my body was processing the input of lights, like fluorescent lighting, of the experience of driving, the experience of using the cell phone, and I became aware that our nervous systems are actually being very stressed and agitated by these electronic devices, and it's not our natural state. And when we're in nature, our energy fields, our minds, our bodies, everything in our emotions are all energy. Our physical bodies are the most dense energy, but it's all electricity in a way. And that's what the physicists are saying, right? That's not just an idea. And when we're in nature, we naturally ground our energy fields through our feet into the earth, and we have a natural connection to the source of peace and unconditional love. But when we are not in nature, we are bombarded, and the energy fields around us are impacting us, and they're changing our nervous systems, and they're stressing our bodies, and they're changing the way the energy flows through our bodies, which is creating emotional distress for a lot of people, anxiety for a lot of people. I truly feel like there may be a lot of people walking around who don't know why they're not sleeping well, who are actually suffering insomnia just from using electronic devices, because they stimulate our nervous system, they change our hormones, they do a lot of things to us. And we've become accustomed to it, so we don't notice, and we may sleep next to our cell phone, or watch a movie as we're falling asleep on our tablet or something like that, or even just a TV, and that feels normal. But when you go out into nature and you start to recognize what our systems are really accustomed to, what they're made for, and you get into your natural biorhythm, you see a really dramatic contrast. So your body normally starts to get tired and go to sleep when the sun goes down. Right after that, we start to wind down, our stress levels go down, and we are disrupting that by being in civilization with all this artificial technology. And I'm not hating on it. I think this is great that we can transmit a talk. I don't, not judging this as wrong or anything, but I want to raise awareness of how it's impacting us. And so now I'm living in a town with you. In the town with you.
Right, yeah.
We're not roommates yet. But this is a great town. I really like Parker. It's beautiful, right along the Colorado River, and beautiful views of the mountains and incredible sunsets. This is a great place. But I'm finding that in order for myself to stay regulated, I need to go to the public park and find grass and lay down, chest down on the grass for as long as I can every day. 10 minutes is not enough time. Ideally at least a half an hour or more. and put my feet barefoot on the grass to absorb all that radiation. And I'm still living outside. I have an RV now, but I'm still living outside most of the time. And it's just so important to connect to the earth to bring our electromagnetic fields into a place of groundedness and harmony. And in addition to that, when we're in that agitated state, we can start to think in a way that resonates with that feeling. So then our thought processes are changing, right? And we're not at ease, and we might even start to feel like there are problems or feel dissatisfied with our lives in ways that are artificial, that are just a response to our nervous systems or our hearts beating a little too quickly, things just being dysregulated. So I'm really passionate about sharing that something as simple as just being in nature for half an hour is profoundly healing for the body, the mind, and the spirit. And I think if we can all just do that for a little while each day, we can actually just find a lot more peace and wellness. And it's something that we can all do that's free.
Yes, I agree. And we have lots of grass at the library. So
yes, we do.
if anyone wants to come lay in our grass or just walk around barefoot in it to, just to feel better and be outside, they are welcome to at any time.
Thank you. That's very generous, and I have enjoyed your grass here. I want to say it's interesting having experienced different types of landscapes. I do find that grass is important. I spent hours today walking barefoot on the desert sand, and it does not do the same thing.
Mm-mm.
No, it doesn't absorb in the same way. I mean, the desert sand is filled with crystals here, which is amazing. Like crystals like quartz crystals and agates and carnelian, and you probably know some of the other ones like.
It has many things in it.
Yes, it's beautiful, but it doesn't do the same thing. There's something really special about being around plants. They emanate healing life force energy, prana, and the grass in particular just really sucks down some of that electric energy that's just emanating. And it's in the stores as well. And we're all emanating an electromagnetic field, and we're all affecting each other. And what I've noticed is that even just going into the grocery store, the hardware store, the Walmarts, or whatever you need to do, we are coming into contact with other people, and we're all affecting each other. And some of us are highly sensitive, and like myself, after spending all this time in this silence, peaceful place, I'm very aware of the difference. And that's not a bad thing, but what I notice is also not just that our physical and emotional bodies are affected, but our minds. Our minds too, because our thoughts and our beliefs also have a frequency, and they also have an electronic vibration to them, and in a sense they're contagious. And so when you walk around into the supermarkets or other places where people are more mainstream, perhaps, some of the ideas and the paradigms actually can kind of come into your field in ways that when you go into nature, you'll find aren't there. And so I find that consciousness expands in nature too, that we connect to the unconditional love energy that's there in nature, and that there's a silence and a lack of civilization and mass media and all this influence that's just in the air in other places, and we can start to really hear and feel our own inner knowing in a different way and get more authentic by being in nature. So I think it's really important for consciousness as well.
Yeah, so when you're saying about the energy being contagious, it's, if you're around someone who is down and upset, mad, sad, it makes you feel, you get anxiety from it, you catch that in a way. Or if you're around someone that's, happy, bubbly, cheery, this and that, laughing, you can't help but laugh or smile yourself. Most people, some people can keep that straight face, but I can't keep a straight face, but.
Right, yes, our emotions are impactful, and some of us are particularly powerful projectors, and others of us are particularly sensitive receivers. It's absolutely true. And so, yeah, we can go into places where there's lots of others and sometimes come out with even feelings that are not our own. Why am I suddenly feeling a little agitated? I walked in this place in a great mood. Why am I feeling anxiety? Sometimes it's not your anxiety. Sometimes you walked past somebody that was radiating that stuff, and then your system kind of entrained with that, and then you start to feel it, and then you leave and you're like, why am I feeling this? It's not necessarily that you took it from them, but that we are, it's like we're radios in a way, and some people are tuned to Happiness FM, and some people are on down or AM or whatever. And sometimes by being around them, our radio starts to tune to different frequencies. And that's absolutely true. So when we're in nature, it's like we are tuning into the unconditional love and peace frequency, which is so important. And it's just so interesting to me, like even just driving, I notice my nervous system changes when I drive. So the way I'm living now is I try to just ride my bike and walk on foot pretty much everywhere so that I can stay connected to the energy system of the earth and stay grounded. Because if I drive, my nervous system changes. And then when our nervous system changes, not only does that add stress to our bodies, which impacts our immune system and our mental and emotional well-being, but it also changes to some degree our personality. We tend to become more reactive when our nervous system is agitated. We kind of have this like low-level fight or flight state, and then we actually change. Our personality changes a little bit. And I don't know about you, but I like myself better when I'm calm, right? I like myself better when I'm at peace. And in addition to that, like if you think about it, our society is a fast-paced, productivity-oriented, go, drink coffee, you know, the more you do, the better, the more you're achieving, the better off you are, kind of energy, right?
Right.
And that kind of also puts us in this really driven go state, which also is not really so good for our mental health or our physical health. And when we are in nature and our nervous system is deactivated and we're appreciating a sunset or breathing in the beautiful scent of the breeze on a river or something like that, or appreciating a flower, we're still. We're still, and we're in a different state of mind where there's nothing to achieve and we're just content. And that's really great for our mental health. Of course, the more we feel happy and content, it's better for us. But it also helps us to be more receptive and more creative and more intuitive. It's really hard to tune into your inner knowing. And it's really hard to be in your authentic self if you're in your mind all the time, kind of like pursuing and striving. And so what we end up with is a society that's out of balance. And our priorities come out of balance, and our thoughts come out of balance, and everything just gets all wonky. And the cure is just to spend more time in nature.
Right.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah. So I love sharing that, and I love sharing as well the powerful impact of plant medicines and earth medicines, which are all around us. Oh, I see we have comments, I think. Do we have comments on here? I'd like to respond to any questions.
Yes, let me see what we have here. Okay,
Let's
good, knock on the table. Let's see, we have, it's telling us who is watching. Oh, Kyle says, that's what Art Awakenings is about, mental health. So that's awesome. Britton, hello Britton, hello Arlene, hello Sarah, hello Linda. They are all watching.
Hi everybody, thank you for tuning in.
Yes, we appreciate you. And Kyle, he is a patron that comes here, and he goes to Art Awakenings, and that is a place that people go to and they paint or make art, and that's how they relieve their stress and they calm. It's like a meditation, I think, kind of for them.
Oh, yeah.
By creating art. And I totally agree, because when I'm painting, I don't think about anything else, just my painting.
I love that you brought that up. Yeah, that's been huge for me too, for healing as well. Absolutely, is like when we make art, we are engaging our right brain, and we're getting out of that exactly in the same way. We're getting out of that go productivity, problem solving mode, and we're getting into imagination and fun and play and all these other things that are really healthy for us, and engaging the inner child. That's all really great. I totally agree.
And he says art therapy.
Yes, art therapy, absolutely. So I'm talking about nature therapy, but art therapy does a lot of the same. I agree with that. Yeah, and so I like to share as well just that nature is filled with medicines, herbs, plants, and animal medicines as well. And there's all kinds of healing potential that's free or just widely available for us for pretty much every ailment. And so when we see in the mainstream all these pharmaceutical ads in the magazines or TV or wherever, or sometimes radio, wherever you're listening, there's always this long list of horrible side effects.
Yes.
This thing will solve this problem you have, also give you explosive diarrhea.
Yes.
Like crazy stuff,
Yes.
right?
Yes, lots
Of stuff. There's almost no side effects to natural medicines. And most of the time, there are very few, if any, side effects. The cost is generally lower, and they're widely available. So I love to share and raise awareness that nature is filled with medicines, and that really every plant we see has some kind of a history of use, generally as a food or a medicine in some civilization. And that's really interesting in urban environments, and that's what my first book is about. It's called Dandelion Hunter, and it's about exploring what those plants can do for us. And I started out really looking at the weeds and the trees in a city and learning about them, and then kind of expanded into the native Pacific Northwest, and I learned about the background, the ethnobotany of those plants and trees and how they were used. So even in the desert, though, there is medicine in everything. There's just so much. So I just like to raise awareness that I think nature holds the medicine and key for everything.
I agree, and we will definitely be ordering some more books on natural healing.
Awesome. Yeah.
And we'd like to also order your book and have your book available for patrons to read also. So
Please do. People say it's funny.
well,
I
great.
like to
I
do
love funny.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a mix of memoir and narrative, kind of like journalistic inquiry, but I tried to make it entertaining.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah, so that book is called Dandelion Hunter. My name is Tara Rose, but I wrote it under my birth name, which is a different name.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
And
but
so what name should we look for the book?
the book is under Rebecca Lerner.
Rebecca Lerner.
It's a hard name to say, and that was, yeah. Anyway,
But I mean,
Yeah.
I like the last name,
Lerner,
Lerner. 'Cause
yeah,
that's
fits.
totally fits.
That part
That's
fits,
great.
right? The learning process, yes. So,
And
yeah.
I thought we had a question maybe. Oh, we have just more people joined us. So that's
Hi, everybody. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions about holistic healing, natural medicine, or energy healing, I'd be happy to answer any of your questions and share. I can tell you some of the work that I do is I educate others on how to be intuitive energy healers working with Reiki, and that's really neat because we find that by manipulating and changing the energy fields, we can change the experience in our bodies and our minds as well. So Reiki is basically a natural positive energy that moves through someone who is activated and attuned to channel this frequency, and it brings healing and it brings peace and balance. And essentially the idea is that health is balance, and that disease of the mind, body, or spirit is a blockage of some kind, generally. It's either a pollution from the physical world or electronic world, or it's something stuck from the emotions that's not moving through us. And so Reiki is an energy that can free those blockages, and then our body naturally heals, just lets the natural energies flow through us. But in my work as an intuitive energy healer, I found that there's this really interesting kind of like metaphorical ailments that people often have. Like people who suffer from autoimmune conditions, which are very common, also often suffer from self-criticism. You think about it, it's like you're attacking yourself, your body starts to attack itself. There's a lot of times really weird and interesting symbolic ailments like that.
That is interesting.
Or like someone who has like chronic pain in the neck and back actually has something emotionally that's chronically bothering them that they're holding on to, and then when they let go of that thing, which Reiki and other sorts of alternative healing can help with, a lot of times the chronic pain disappears.
Because they're carrying the load on their shoulders.
Literally. Yes.
And then their everything starts aching from that.
Yes. So
That's-
the body, the mind, and the spirit are all deeply connected.
Well,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And do we have any questions from anybody? I should have put my glasses on. I'm trying to read what
I know.
we're all moving forward. Hello, everybody. I see. I think it's just telling.
We're gonna come up there.
Yeah.
Just try to read the screen a little
We
better.
can't see back here. Oh, it
Okay.
says we can bring you guys on camera. Do you guys want to come onto the camera with us? I don't know what that would mean, but
Bring them
you
on
probably
camera.
don't want to come on camera with us. I mean, if you do, we'll definitely add you. But so I was going to make sure that we give everyone your information like your Instagram account and things like that too, so
Yes.
people can definitely follow along.
Yes, so thank you. Yeah, so I also have a podcast I'll tell you about. It's called the Green Goddess Podcast. You can find it on any podcast platform. And on that show, I mostly talk about and interview people to do with psychedelic medicines, which we like to call entheogens, meaning medicines that evoke divinity and experiences of divinity and consciousness. And that's the perspective. It's not like about recreational use, it's about medicinal and spiritual and consciousness expanding use of various medicines. So if that's something you're interested in, psychedelic and things like that, Green Goddess Podcast. I also have a YouTube channel on the same subjects. It has a lot of my podcasts uploaded as videos. So you can find me on YouTube. That is under Green Goddess Rising. That's also my Instagram, Green Goddess Rising. You can find me there. And my website is peacelovetara.com.
Okay, so we will also be sharing this video to we just recently made a YouTube channel for the library. So we will be sharing the video onto the YouTube channel and our Instagram, and we will be making sure to put all of your contact information, your podcast, your YouTube channel, Instagram, and everything on there, so you guys can follow along. And sorry, I got distracted by Petunia over here.
The dog, yes.
Sorry. You guys can follow along and watch our podcast and learn some more about this wonderful thing that everyone should be taking seriously, and that is get outdoors, enjoy nature, and be healthy.
Yes, yes. And I mean, I think it's really sad that the way that a lot of places have responded to COVID is by shutting down access to the parks. That's something I personally feel really upset about, because I like being in nature is the best thing for the immune system and for the mental health. And when we're under stress, that compromises our immune system. So if we really care about the health of our population, what we need to be doing is expanding access to the parks and to nature as much as possible. So I think it's especially important right now when we're all under a little bit of increased psychological stress by being cut off from some of our social outlets, and by going through sometimes a lot of people are in, the buzzword uncertainty. What's going to happen next? We all don't know how long this is going to last. All that kind of stuff that we're going through. It's a really important time to connect to nature.
Yes, I agree. And we are also expanding the library. We're going to start having an outdoor reading area and a garden. So
really,
stay tuned for that. And that all ties in with being outside and enjoying nature.
That's fantastic. I like that. Yeah. Well, I want to thank everyone who has joined us and everyone who's going to be watching this later who might not be watching it live. We're really happy that you decided to tune in to our chat, and we hope that has interested you and inspired you.
Yes, thank you everybody, and we will have more information posted, so stay tuned and follow our Facebook or go to our website.
Yes, and anybody who is interested to contact me, please feel free to reach out through my website, peacelovetara.com, or my social media accounts. Be happy to chat with you and hear from you in whatever way I can help you, whether you're interested in learning from me or you might like to work with me personally. Yeah, there's lots of ways that I can assist you.
And it's Green Goddess
Rising.
Green Goddess Rising
On Instagram.
On Instagram.
And YouTube, yeah.
So look for that.
Yeah.
And thank you, and maybe we'll have her back again for another chat.
That'd be fun. Yeah, well, I'm working on another book, so eventually.
Oh, awesome. We will definitely have you back for that.
Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
We'll see you next week for Dr. Seuss.
Ooh.